Hey Leslie, you've always rotated, up front on the defensive line, but when a team like Green Bay last night is maybe running the ball more effectively than other opponents had, is it more important to have that rotation with guys like, Tim Settle and Jordan Phillips being able to make some impact plays like last night?
Oh yeah, absolutely. We really needed that rotation for sure, and it helped us to be able to have Jordan back, to be able to have Ed back, and obviously Tim had an impact on the game as well. But the way they were running the football and as effectively as they were running the ball, we needed to have a good rotation so we could keep fresh bodies on the field.
Hey, Leslie, you got me?
Yes, John, gotcha.
Sean said that the expectation is Tre'Davious is going to be activated, I guess, by tomorrow. How does that affect what you're going to be able to do at cornerback since you've already been rotating the rookies on one side? We know Dane's been starting, and now adding Tre'Davious into the mix.
I think from a practice standpoint, John, it'll definitely make a difference. Being able to get him out to get involved with our defense versus what he's been doing previously, and that's working with our practice squad. How it would impact what we're doing game-wise, that'll still be, that's yet to be determined because we got to watch him practice with our defense to see where he is. But it'll just affect the rotation and how we practice because we want to be able to take some views of him, but still try not to keep Poyer and Kristen from getting reps. They need to be prepared just in case.
And then with Bobby Babich, obviously shifting over to working with the linebackers from the secondary, how much have you seen him bring maybe techniques in the way he was coaching safeties and defensive backs to the way he's coaching and bringing some of those aspects to guys like Matt and Tremaine, as we see Matt flying around with another interception and things like that?
It's a good question, John. I think Bobby has done a really good job in doing exactly what you just mentioned, bringing over some of the footwork drills, some of the ball catching drills that we use with the defensive backs. He's brought that to the linebackers as well as how to drop in zone, just being able to expand their knowledge a little bit on the pass game. And I think that's really helped Matt, it's helped Tremaine, it's helped Terrell Dotson as well, and Terrell Bernard, Balaam, all our linebackers. It's helped the entire group. So Bobby has really brought a different dimension to that group that I think has helped our pass defense.
Thanks, Leslie.
You're welcome.
Hey, Leslie, when preparing for the Jets game coming up this weekend, what have you just seen from film? They've been able to find a way to win 5 games so far this season and had a 4-game win streak going there until yesterday against the Patriots.
Yeah, just a little bit that I've seen, Matt, it seems like they're doing a really good job of running the football and play action pass, and their receiving core has really improved. They've got a young receiver with the rookie from Ohio State who's doing a really good job of making some plays for them. Good slot receivers. The offensive line, I know they've had some injuries, but it's much improved. I know they've had an injury at the running back position, but that position seems to be improved as well. So they've upgraded through the draft and some select free agents, and it seems like they're a much improved offense.
And then with Zach Wilson, what strikes you as the way that he plays quarterback? I know at times he's struggled, but he's also been able to find some success in that offense this season.
Yeah, up until yesterday, he had done a really good job of not giving the football away and being able to control the clock. His ability to be able to make plays outside the pocket, that really stresses defenses. And that's a plus for him. And he's got the arm talent to make all the throws. So you see his ability with his mobility as well as his ability to be able to get the football down the field. And then you have a good run game along with what he can do throwing the ball. You have a chance to really have a well-rounded quarterback.
Thanks, Leslie.
You're welcome.
Coach Frazier, Mookie Hawkins, Waffle Sports 1080. How you doing today, sir?
Doing well.
Absolutely. I know coming off the bye, it always, I don't know what it is. It's just different. And it knocks you off task a little bit, I guess. But were you guys number one run defense, the way Green Bay Green Bay ran the ball yesterday. How much did it alert you to pretty much add a new wrinkle there on defense?
Yeah, yeah, they ran it well. It really caused some conversation for us in our meetings today, and some things that we'll have to get corrected because other teams are going to try to copy that run game for sure. So we're going to have to really be on our A game as we make the corrections and try to solve that puzzle that they put together yesterday.
Absolutely, Coach. And coming off that bye week, fundamentally, we know things could be a little bit off key. How much did that show in your eyes at times last night?
I don't know if I can blame it on the bye week. I just think Green Bay did a really good job of putting together a good game plan that they executed, better than we executed what we were doing. And that was the difference. Our guys did a lot of good things in that game, but if there was one area you'd like to be better at, for sure, defending the run. And but that was more about Green Bay's execution than anything.
Absolutely, Coach. Appreciate your time. Good luck this week.
Thank you.
Hey, Leslie, it's Jay with the Buffalo News. Kind of along those lines in defending the run. When you're up 17 in the second half and they're running the ball as much as they are, in some ways that's doing you a favor, though, because it's keeping the clock moving. I mean, was there a part of you in that game that said, obviously you want to stop every run for no gain, but that's not going to happen. And at least while they're having some success moving the ball, they're also burning minutes on the clock while they're doing it.
It's a good observation because there were moments in my mind, especially early in the fourth quarter with the lead that we had. I was thinking this is going to be more pass, but they were still running it. So, you got to make a decision on defense. What are you going to try to defend? And they had some success, credit to them. But at the end of the day, it's about getting a win. Statistically, we didn't get what we wanted from the run defense standpoint, but still only allowing 17 points, Jay. I mean, usually if you allow 17 points in a game, your chances of winning are pretty high in our league. So, you don't like to give up those yards, but at the end of the day, it's about points.
Appreciate that, Leslie. Thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Hey, Leslie. I was curious. We've obviously talked a lot about Trey coming back and all that, but you kind of referenced this. How do you balance, wanting those rookies to get their practice time and get that experience? They've been in a flow since the start of the season, but also kind of integrate Trey back in. How do you do that?
Well, Elena, it's a good problem to have Tre'Davious back and to be able to have those discussions about integrating him into practice. I think we all are happy to be able to have this conversation. So we'll figure it out. We'll do what's best for Christian along with Poyer, what's best for them, but also find ways to evaluate Trey and just see where he is. And without setting Poyer or Christian back, that's the goal. You want to keep those guys progressing until we know absolutely that Tre'Davious is back on the field in games. But we'll get it figured out, though.
And then I was curious, obviously, Poyer and Christian have still been rotating. Why do you feel like that's been working to kind of have, yesterday they did like quarters. Why do you feel like that's been working to kind of have them, growing and getting snaps in that kind of way where they're switching like that?
A couple of different reasons. One, you want both of them to continue to grow for sure, but also they're both young players, both being rookies. So you want them to be able to see as much as they can. And the rotation gives us a chance to do that, to put them in different situations. And with the injuries that we've had this season, you'd much rather for those guys to be rotating, getting snaps. If something happens to one like it did with Christian a few weeks ago, and Poyer had to play extensively, it wasn't like he hadn't been playing. It wasn't too big for him because he's been playing since the first game of the season. And if something were to happen to Poyer, it'd be the same way for Christian. If he's healthy, he'd be out there playing, but he's been playing. So that's the advantage to what we're doing. And they both done a really good job for us. So it hasn't been a negative at all.
And then I was curious, from when Dane came in as a rookie, how much have you seen him grow? How much better is Dane Jackson now than, when he came in his rookie year? And what is he doing well, do you feel like, this season when he's been healthy?
He's always been a good tackler, even when he was in a backup role, just watching him in training camp his rookie year. And he was always a tough competitor even when he was on the scout team. But where I've seen him grow the most, Elaine, is the confidence. There are some things he's doing in coverage that he wouldn't have done a year ago. He challenges the receivers a whole lot more than he did in the past. Doesn't give him that cushion that he used to give receivers. He trusts his speed more. He's more apt to be aggressive on certain routes that he wouldn't have been in the past because of his experience and his confidence. And he's having a terrific year for us. Hopefully he can stay healthy and just keep doing what he's doing, but his confidence is showing in how aggressive he plays.
Thanks.
Well,
Yes, Coach Frazier, George Radney, Challenger Community News. Good afternoon. How you doing on this Monday afternoon?
I'm doing well, George.
Great, glad to hear it. And I'm wondering, how difficult is it for a player, for any cornerback? Is it easier for a cornerback to switch to the safety position rather than a safety switching to a corner position in the National Football League? What would you say?
Yeah, when it happens, usually see maybe a corner who's maybe lost a step, shifting to safety because of the requirements. It's a little less exposure when you're playing safety, in particular when you have to play man than when you're playing at the corner spot. So usually it's because the guy is not quite as quick or fast as he needs to be to play the corner. So you might transition him to safety because he has good instincts. He's a smart guy. He's a good communicator. But that's usually the transition. A little bit tougher going from safety, where you are, just in a total different environment than going out and playing corner out on that island sometimes and being by yourself in coverage.
That's what I was thinking. Okay, thank you. And last question, Tim Settle, as well as Ed Oliver looked like very quick, looked like he was back to himself yesterday, the first game really since the Rams, since the season opener. And Tim Settle, how would you rate his play from yesterday?
Yeah, I agree with you on Ed. He really looked like more of the Ed that we saw prior to his injury against the Rams, which is great for us to be able to see that. And Tim had a terrific game for us. Had an impact play on that batted ball where Matt Milano ended up getting the interception. He's really stout at the point of attack in the run game for us. He's really good in rotation. So, he had some injuries coming out of training camp as well. And now he's really rounding into form, which is going to really help our defense, George, as we go forward.
Beautiful. Thank you. And good luck this coming Sunday.
Thank you.
Hey, Leslie, my question was pretty similar about Tim Settle, but just as he's gotten to know this team, maybe where have you seen him grow the most over this time and lead to a game like last night?
Yeah, Catherine, for Tim, so much of what we were dealing with early on was indoctrinating him into how we do things from a defensive line standpoint. He came from a system where it was a lot different than what we do. We're more of an attacking upfield defense, and he came from a system where there was a little bit more reading going on. So that was probably the biggest acclamation for him. And he's gotten so much better coming out of camp with understanding how we do things. So part of it has been time on task. He was dealing with some injuries for a little bit. And now that he's been able to practice every day and get more comfortable with what we're asking our defensive linemen to do, we're seeing the results of it as in yesterday. I mean, that was a terrific effort by him. The penetration that we need, getting his hands up, all the things that we teach our players to do, we saw it on display from Tim last night.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.